Good Saturday night, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing? I am Kendrick, the sports guy, and welcome to Saturday Night Live. Hope you are having a great weekend. Got a little chilly here in Texas. This weather is up and down all around, but you know how it is. What's that saying? Just wait 24 hours. The weather is going to change. You know how it is. So hopefully everyone is having a good weekend. It is the weekend prior to Easter. So I know everybody's going to be busy doing their thing. So we're going to do our again with Saturday Night Live. And look who's in the house. One of my favorite ladies, Philadelphia Eagles fan, CC. How you doing? How you doing, love? Hope you having a good weekend. We missed you last night on TFG tonight, but we knew you was with us. You look like you're cold. No, I ain't cold. Yeah, it's a little chilly for my taste. Because you know what? Even though I was born in the North, I was Wisconsin born, Texas raised, and I was born in the month of January too. I cannot stand cold weather. Get that away from me. But anyway, we're gonna have a good night tonight. Again, I mostly talk sports, but we're gonna talk a little bit of everything tonight. You wasn't feeling good. I hope you're feeling better. It's a bug going around. Actually, my oldest son is under the weather too, CC. So I hope you get the feeling better. Obviously, you popped on to support your brother. So I definitely appreciate that. You not feeling well and you decided to pop on and check out your boy. Again, this is Saturday Night Live. We're going to talk a few things. We're going to talk a little bit of Tiger Woods. We got the NCAA tournament going on. I watched South Carolina ladies earlier defeat Oklahoma. We got some the men's side going on. Got that going on. But I'm gonna talk a little bit of sports, but I'm kind of just delve in some other stuff. We're gonna talk Tiger Woods. We're gonna talk my thoughts on Verzuz. Tank versus Tyrese. The recap. If you watched it, I did, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been mixed results, so mixed comments. I've saw some people that didn't care for it, and that's fine. You know, it's all about what you personally like. I get it. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna recap that, and we also gonna talk about Country Wayne, one of the up and coming comedians in the game, who got his start on Facebook, on social media. He had his second comedy special that dropped on Amazon Prime this week, and I actually checked it out. We're gonna give my thoughts on that as well, and then we just gonna freestyle a little bit. Just gonna talk about whatever is happening. You feel me? Thank you, CC. Appreciate you sharing the video. Thank you, love. As always, I must say, I'm definitely going to shout you out because you support me through whatever, and I definitely appreciate that. So again, this is Saturday Night Live, not like the Saturday Night Live that comes on NBC. This is my own Saturday Night Live, where we're going to talk a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Let's go ahead and jump into this. I want to see, we got like 9 people watching. Oh, before we do that, make sure you come in, like, share, like my sisters, Cece has already done. Make sure you share this to all your social media platforms. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channels. Those channels are Kendrick Sports Hustle, that's SPORTZ HUSTLE, as well as TFG Sports Media on YouTube. Make sure you like and follow them both on Facebook if you are on that platform. Again, Kendrick Sports Hustle, as well as TFG Sports Media. You can also follow me on Instagram at KDrick1969, and as well as on TikTok at Kendrick Henderson 51. Well, my TikTok, it goes down when I go live over there, but I'm only live on Facebook and YouTube tonight. And as you can see, I got my Green Bay mug. If you didn't know, now you know. I'm a Packer fan, Wisconsin born, Texas raised, baby. 414, Bruce City, baby. That's how we do it. Up in here. Yeah. Thank you, CC. Man, I appreciate the love. So we're gonna go ahead and get this thing popping. Let's go ahead and talk about the news that broke on yesterday evening, right before it was about an hour and a half before TFG tonight. We went live on there. Let me plug TFG tonight as well. If you haven't, go over there and subscribe to TFG tonight as well on YouTube. Host Brenton Haynes is the host. I am part of the panel, as well as my good brother Lee Black, as well as my good sister Devin Devine. If you haven't already, subscribe to TFG tonight on YouTube. Make sure you follow it on Facebook as well. Well, this story about Tiger Woods broke just before we actually went on last night, on last Friday night, and I'm just going to give you somewhat of an update on what's going on with that. Uh, Eldrick Tiger Woods was arrested on suspicion of DUI after his vehicle rolled over in Jupiter Island, Florida, on Friday, March the 27th, 2026. Again, he was arrested for driving under the influence by the Martin County Sheriff's Office. Woods and the other driver involved in the two-car crash were not injured. Woods was released from the Martin County Jail late Friday night. His longtime agent, Mark Steinberg, would not immediately respond to a request for information from the USA Today about Tiger Woods' condition. If you don't know, Woods was previously involved in a serious rollover crash back in California in 2021, where there was a possibility of him having to have his right leg amputated. So that was 5 years ago. But in addition to the DUI charge that Woods received on Friday, Woods is also facing charges for property damage and refusal to submit to a lawful test. Woods was not under the influence of alcohol. I repeat, Woods was not under the influence of alcohol. His breathalyzer test registered a 0.00, police said, but deputies determined Woods was impaired. He did not submit to a urine test. So that is the latest on Tiger Woods. My thoughts on this whole situation. I said this last night on TFG tonight. I think that Tiger is addicted to pain medication. If you don't know, he's dealt with numerous injuries the last 5 or 6 years. He's had back surgery. Matter of fact, he just had back surgery this past October. He's also tore his Achilles. Again, that accident back in February of 2021. He had some serious injuries, and there was thoughts of that he would have to have his right leg amputated. So he has been dealing with quite a few physical ailments in the last 5 to 7 years. So my mind, I'm thinking that he's definitely addicted to pain medication. And I think this isn't something that's unusual. I think we see this from the average person. It's really easily to get addicted to. It's a sad situation right now, and he needs to get help. He needs to get rehabilitation for his drug addiction, because that's what I think it is, alleged. Now, I gotta say, I guess I need to go back and say alleged, because this is just my thoughts. When I first saw this, when I first broke, I already knew. I was like, man, I think it has something to do with pain medication. I think he's on pain medication just to deal with all these injuries, and so that's where we are. So people were asking the question. So what's next? What about the Masters? Nah, that's not gonna happen. I didn't think that was gonna happen at all, even prior to this breaking news that happened on yesterday. I didn't think physically that he was able to be able to play in the Masters. I didn't think he was going to be able to do that. And the reports were that he was 50-50 on trying to do that. But at this point, man, I think his professional career is the least of his worries. In my opinion, I think his golfing career is done. I think we have seen the best of Tiger. I don't think he will win another major. I don't think he will be a force to be reckoned with in the golf game. And you know, it happens. And, you know, it's unfortunate. You know, I hate to say that, uh, but I think it's unfortunate. But I think that he has bigger fit. You know, he has his two children that I think he has to think about in what's going on with him right now. But I also said this too last night on TFG Tonight. I think the loss of his father affected him more than he probably wanted to admit. And I think that that kind of hurt his game. And then, you know, top it off, a couple of years ago, I want to say 2 years ago, he lost his mother. You know, not even talking about the loss of his marriage. We all know that whole situation, how it ended up. So he's dealt with a lot of personal setbacks in the last couple of years. Uh, I don't think he'll win another green jacket. Yeah, I'm with you, CC. I just think that his golfing to the dominant Tiger that we were used to seeing. I think that's gone, long gone. And Father Time is undefeated. And I think he's got some demons that he has to address. And I don't know who's the main people in his corner. I don't know his inner circle. I don't know anything like that. But I will say this: I think that having his door his son and his daughter, I think that should be the motivating factor to trying to get himself back on track. Actually, his son is doing pretty well on the golf course. So I would hope that that would be a motivating factor for Tiger to be there for his son, like his dad was there for him, to be able to help and guide him through this journey of life. Not only golf, but this journey of life. But at the end of the day, he has to address his own demons. Uh, so, uh, I don't know what to say about I want to say about that. The video, please. CC, the video. You got me on that. The video. Uh don't know what the video is. I don't know if it's been released. I don't have any connection. I don't have any video of the actual wreck. If that's what you're talking about, CC. Uh but again, so Tiger Woods, uh will he ever get back to being the Tiger? Oh, thumbs up to the video. Thank you, CC. My bad. Yeah, you got to keep me on track. I want to see him outside. I'll be honest with you. It ain't even about him getting back on the green anymore for me. I want to see him get better for his children. That's it. And for himself, first and foremost. First and foremost for himself. Because this is the second time in 5 years, man, that he's had a serious accident, and it was due to probably being on these pain medication. And I don't know how many more times the Most High is going to be on his side. You feel me? I really don't. He's kind of like a cat at this point. What they say, a cat has 9 lives. At this point, he's kind of had 9 lives, man. And I'm not gonna kick a man when he down. But I definitely want to see him be better for himself and for his two children. Golf, the golf game, it'll be fine. It's gonna roll on. It keeps going and going and going. We see it in all kind of other sports where some of our greatest athletes decide to retire. They have to retire, or some other things happen, but it moves on. Golf is gonna move on. Will we have another Tiger Woods? I don't think so. I don't think we'll ever see another Tiger Woods again. But we still got some guys that's phenomenal that can play the game. So at the end of the day, hopefully Tiger will get himself together, and hopefully whomever is his people, his publicists and whatever, will be able to have some sort of influence on him for him to get help. So we had to get that out the way. So we sending prayers out to Tiger Woods and his children as well. So there you have it. So let's move on to some. We're getting into some lighter stuff. Let's move on. Again, this is Saturday Night Live with your boy Kendrick, the sports guy. Yeah, I mostly talk sports, but I got an opinion on a lot of other stuff. I keep my eye on different things, and I definitely like comedy. I'm big into comedies, and I like comedians, and I like to laugh, and I'm big into that. So my good brother Country Wayne, he dropped this new comedy special, Nostalgia, on Amazon Prime on Monday. I believe it was Monday or Tuesday. I think it was Monday. If you're not familiar with Country Wayne, make sure if you're watching this, come in, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Again, comment. Don't be in the bushes. Let me know where you're watching from. Because I see it's 10 people watching, but there's only one person commenting, and that's my sister Cece, who's an Eagles fan. Fly birds fly, whatever y'all saying is, CC. Let me know what it is in the comments. Y'all got y'all saying, y'all the tush push and all that. But it's 10 people watching, but it's only one person commenting. So comment. Let me know where you're watching from. Holler at your boy so we can go back and forth, so we can have some conversation. But I want to talk about Country Wayne and his new comedy special. Again, this is his second one. Like I just said previously, it dropped on Monday, I believe, on Amazon Prime. His first one actually was on Netflix back in 2023. In September of 2023, he dropped his first comedy special, stand-up special called A Woman's Prayer. And I watched both of them. And again, I'm just going to give you a little bit of background before I give you Fly High. Okay, I got you. Fly, Eagles, fly. Davita said, Fly High, Virginia. Okay, we got somebody from Virginia, Davita Douglas. Thank you for watching. My sister, CC, Fly, Eagles, fly. I knew I was in the vicinity. I couldn't get it right. But I did. I've watched both of his stand-up specials. Again, his first one was A Woman's Prayer that dropped on Netflix back in September 2023. Then his new one, Nostalgia, it just dropped this week. Just some background. I actually started following Country Wayne. His videos started popping up on my Facebook probably around 20, I'm going to say maybe 2012, 2013. And he was doing some skits. It's him in the cell phone. He just doing these little skits. I'm like, who is this dude? I'm like, this dude is hilarious. Who is this cat? Country Wayne. And, again, if you don't know his backstory, he has 10 children. I think he's 37 now. He talks about, child support and just personal life. He used to own a club, and he used to be on the street selling drugs, whatever. But comedy was calling. And then when the pandemic hit, that's when his channel really took off, because we were all stuck. Social media, those that were on social media, you didn't have anything to do but either watch YouTube or whatever and this and that. So I started following him. I was like, man, this dude is hilarious. I said, this is some funny stuff. So I actually sat down and watched his second special on this morning. I actually started watching it last night, but I kind of fell asleep on it. So I was like, nah, I said, I can't really give a true my take on it. I gotta watch it while I'm, alert and watching it from beginning to end. Now, I would say this. I watched this first one, and I'll be honest with you. It was personally nothing, and I like Country Wayne, but his first stand-up special, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being this thing was out, he knocked it out the park, it was hilarious, to 1 being like, this is straight garbage, I gave his first one a 3. I don't know if anybody watched it. Let me know if you did. His first one, which was on Netflix, A Woman's Prayer. I'll be honest with you, I maybe laughed maybe twice during that whole first one. I was somewhat disappointed. I was expecting more. But again, he did. He was this is something he jumped into. He didn't start the game as a stand-up comedian. He basically was a social media comedian. That's how he started. So he didn't come up through the clubs and this and that, and on grinding in comedy clubs, this and that. So there you have it. So I'm just saying on the first one, I was a little disappointed. Cece says, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and engage with the host. It helps the channel grow. Thank you, Cece. Appreciate that. Definitely engage. I'm engaged with you. Tia's back. How you doing, TC? Thanks for popping in. It's Saturday Night Live. Appreciate the love. Again, we're talking about, I'm just giving my takes on some of the things that's happening. We're talking right now about Kountry Wayne, his new stand-up show that debuted on Amazon Prime this week. But his first one, which was called A Woman's Prayer, that debuted in September 23, like I say, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being like this was out the box, it was hilarious, to 1 being like, yeah, this was a snoozer. I gave his first one a 3. I was really disappointed. Uh, I I just it just didn't give me that. It didn't give me that laugh meter. It was a couple of things he did in there I thought was kind of funny, but overall, I thought it was a 3. That was again a woman's prayer. So, so now let's talk about Country Wayne nostalgia. I'm great, to you. Thank you. I hope you are too. Uh, on This was a little better. I will admit. I think nostalgia it was a little better. I could tell that he had stepped his game up as far as his writing, his jokes, uh, the way he commanded the crowd. It was a little bit better, but it still kind of missed the mark for me. I laughed a little bit more on this one with Country Wayne's nostalgia, but again, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being out the park, knocked it out the park, to 1 being just straight garbage, I have to give it a 5. Um, I I um I think he had some good moments there. Uh, in this one, it was some funny moments there. He engaged with the crowd a little bit more in this one. I thought it was funny. Him talking about his grandmother, I thought he had some funny moments with that, and then him talking about his 10 children, him being, that was kind of, he had some things there too that was kind of funny. But I would say this was a little better than the first one, A Woman's Prayer, but it's still somewhat missed the mark for me. Missed the mark. CC says, I haven't watched it yet, but I will. When you watch it, CC, I want to get your opinion on it. Tell me what you think. Uh and I would say this, and this is the thing I would say about being funny and being a comedian. Obviously, I have no idea of how to being a stand-up comedian. I think that's probably one of the more difficult professions to master. Uh but I think a lot of times, just because you're funny with your inner circle and your family, because I know a lot of people that's funny just off the cuff. When you're just having just regular conversation, you out and about, and they just say some funny ish. Oh yeah, they just got it. They off the cuff or whatever. But that doesn't necessarily mean that translates to you being a stand-up comedian, just because, oh, this dude is funny. You ought to hear him. Oh, he be saying the most outlandish. Yeah, you might be funny in a controlled setting with family and friends, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you can be funny with a mic in your hand in front of a room of 100 to 200 people. So, and I think that's what I like. And I would say that again, and I love Country Wayne. I think he's a funny dude off the cuff. If you watch his skits, he's a funny dude. I mean, just he's funny. His facial expressions and how he say different things, I think he is. But as far as him as a stand-up comedian, I don't know if he's that dude. But again, what do I know? I'm just saying it from a fan perspective. I think Country Wayne is funny. I think, if you've watched him in the skits, he's funny off the cuff. But watching his 2 stand-ups, where it's a controlled setting, where you have to put together a show, he's not as funny. And I think you probably can say that about a lot of comedians that's in the game. I was talking to a couple of buddies tonight, and we were talking about our Mount Rushmore of stand-ups. Cece says I like his skits, and I do too. That's what got me like, yo, I do, and I like his grind and his hustle, man. You know, because he's turned he's turned his channel, his YouTube and his Facebook. He's made six figures in the way he can flip these, and he's post these skits and all this stuff, and he produces this content. And I definitely respect his hustle. I respect his grind. I respect everything he's done. But again, I saying, you know, being a comedian, that can be difficult. Just to jump in and say I'm gonna do stand up. I think we've seen this with Ti. I think, you know, we saw this when he decided that he wanted to jump in and say he can do stand up, because I think Ti is a funny cat too, off the cuff in his surroundings. But put him on the stage and in front of a room, a arena full of thousands of people, that's a whole different type of game. Yeah, that's a whole different type of game, and I think it takes years to be able to master that. Just my opinion. Yeah, yeah. Tia says she thinks his skits are super cool, and I do. And again, and I like his hustle and his grind, and how he done mastered the game and came up on social media. Because we see a lot of these, so you know, we see it a lot now. There's a whole lot of social media comedians, just hilarious, and Desi Banks, just to name, Ha Ha Davis, Kerwin Claiborne. Those are some few that I follow, that I know that they come up through social media, and that's cool. You know, it's a different time in a different area, but you know, a lot of the old school comedians, they don't they kind of feel some type of way, because a lot of these cats come up that way, even in a music game. We see it as well, where we see a lot of talented people on social media that are musically talented, and they've blew up through social media, but their route is a different route. So you know, I'm not going to ever hate on somebody's route on how they take it. But I also know that I think coming up through social media, it is a little bit easier for you to make it, because you've already gathered a following. You've already got followers. You already have established that, subscribers and this and that. Like I say, I think Country Wayne, prior to him grabbing the mic to go on stage in 2023, hell, he already had 1 million followers on his social media platforms. So, you know, he was already doing well. But hats off to him to taking that chance to get it, you know, to go on stage and become a stand-up comedian. But again, I I just think sometimes it's best. Now I don't want to say that, because I don't ever want to put somebody in a box, because you never know where your talents will lead you. You know, I ain't gonna never tell somebody to stay in their lane. I would just say work on your craft and continue to work on it. And far as comedians, like Country Wayne and Just Hilarious, and again, Ha Ha Davis, Kerwin Claiborne, Ryan Davis, who's another one that's pretty good too, that got his come up on social media. You just got to get on the grind, man, and test your skills out in these comedy clubs, because that's where you're gonna really know if you're gonna stand the test of time. And I say that about musicians and singers too. You know, it's cool. Social media is cool. You know, yeah, that's cool to get that instant reaction. And that's what social media gives you. You get an instant reaction. You either get a thumbs up or a thumbs down, so you can figure it out. That's the cool thing about social media. But the flip side of that too is it sometimes will make you feel like that you better than you really are, just because you got this big following. And that's in all, you know, and I can say that even about me, because, you know, sports is my thing. You know, and I basically do it on social, you know, social media is where I'm doing it. And I got a few subscribers and followers here and there. But you know, I'm not gonna ever get it twisted and think like I've arrived. Just because I got a few thousand followers and subscribers that likes my live and shares my content, that don't mean I've arrived. That means that I'm doing something okay, but I ain't there yet. I'm definitely not on the level of the Stephen A. Smiths and the Shannon Sharps and the Ryan Clarks, the Pivots. I'm not on those guys' level, but the Marcellus Wileys, and I'm not on their level by no means. And I'm not going to sit here and fool myself to think and tell myself that I am. But I believe in my talents. So that's my thing right there. But again, thank you, T. Appreciate that. Hashtag Saturday Night Live. Again, I watched Nostalgia, and again, I watched it twice just so I can really give a really good recap of what my thoughts on it. I thought it was better than his first one, but not that much. I'm gonna continue to support Country Wayne because I think he's doing his thing. He's making movies and doing all that. That's going to Tubi. I'm gonna continue to support him. But Nostalgia, I saw the growth from A Woman's Prayer, but it's still not quite there. And I can say this too. I watched Cat Williams his latest stand-up special that dropped, I want to say a month ago. And I was not happy with that. Wasn't that great either. And I like Cat Williams. I think he's one of the dopest comedians out there. But it was definitely below par for what he's put out there. His latest comedy special that I'm talking Cat Williams, if I had to give it a rating from 1 to 10, 10 being off the charts, top notch, to 1 being trash, I would have had to give that one a 5. And I'm talking about Cat Williams. And he is he's one of the vets in the game. By no means. But I don't think this last one was his best at all. I think he said he was going to be his last one too, if I'm not mistaken. I think Cat Williams said that was his last stand-up special. And I hate that because I think he went out with he didn't go out with a bang. Tia, I appreciate that. That encouragement means a whole lot to me. And I do believe that, whatever my success may be, it may not be on a scale of the Shannon Sharps and the Stephen A. Smiths and the Marcellus Wileys and the Pivot and the Ryan Clarks, but I think I will have some sort of success, and I'm fine with that. So there you got it. So that's my thing. I want you guys to watch it and tell me what you think. And also, if you get a chance, go back and watch his Netflix, his first one, A Woman's Prayer, and compare the two and tell me what you think about Country Wayne. And is he one of the up and coming comedians in the game? So again, holla at your boy. Again, you watching Saturday Night Live. Tia Clark, you're welcome. You got this. Thank you, Tia. You don't know how much that encouragement and that love means to me. You watching Saturday Night Live with your boy Kendrick, the sports guy. Again, we just got through talking about Country Wayne, his latest special on Amazon Prime. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out when you get a chance. Now, we're going to move on to some music. I know Tia Clark, she likes this because she's a singer. If you haven't followed Tia Clark, make sure you go follow her. She's a singer, not a singer. She's a singer. There's a difference between the two. We got to talk about this because this has been the talk probably for the last 24 to 48 hours. Verzuz. Tyrese versus Tank. It went down, I believe it was on Apple Music. It went down on Thursday night. I didn't get to watch it when it dropped, obviously, because I worked overnights. But I actually watched it on yesterday morning. You're welcome, my sister. You are most welcome. And I've read some of the comments on social media. One of my cousins, her name is Valicia, a.k.a. Poo Poo. That's my cousin in the mill. She didn't like it. She didn't like the verses. There was a couple of other people under her comment. They didn't feel it either. They were talking about they loved the cash limit, cash money, and no limit was better. And then, okay, I get it. My good brother Lee Black, who is one of my co-hosts on TFG Tonight, he said it was a straight train wreck, according to Lee Black. That's what his thoughts. And some people just didn't dig it. Me personally, in my opinion, I dug the hell out of it. I thought that it was. I've watched a few of these verses. Uh, you know, I watched Brandy and Monica. I did watch the No Limit and Cash Money. I watched the Keith Sweat and Bobby Brown. I watched quite a few of them. Uh, I think, me personally, I think this one between Tyrese and Tank, I ain't gonna say it's my favorite, but it's definitely ranked up there. Because I'm an R&B dude, and both of these cats are are two of my favorite R&B dudes anyway. So I was anticipating this. Uh, I thought it was very entertaining. I thought they came at it with different concepts. CC says she thinks Tank won. Okay, Tia, if you watched it, let me know who you thought won. I'd like to know. I'm glad you put that up there, CC. Why do you think Tank won, in your opinion, CC? Tia, if you watched it, Tia, who did you think won, in your opinion, and why? Um, I love the interaction between Tyrese and Tank. I love the back and forth with the brothers. Uh, I you know, obviously, you know what? Let me go get some background on both these guys. If you don't know who Tyrese is, you've been sleeping under a rock. Tyrese, you know, he's the Coca-Cola guy. That's how we first met Tyrese, singing Coca-Cola on that bus, on that commercial. And then he just blew up from there. CC says, I like Tank's style of singing. No shade to Tyrese. I definitely respect that. Tyrese came in the game, uh, and took it over. You know, late '90s, early 2000s, and he had some hits. And I'm gonna talk about their hits in just a second. As far as Tank started out as a background singer for the late beautiful Aaliyah. His background is the church. Obviously, a lot of these R&B singers, their background is the church. If you don't know, and they did some background for Genuine. So that's kind of. And Tank is a songwriter. Tank is a musician. So he's kind of like the triple threat. Tia says it's Tyrese for me. Tyrese sings effortlessly while Tank struggles at times. I can respect that. So they both come with different strengths. I think when we talk about them singing, I think Tyrese, he has a raspy voice, but he brings a little bit more, I think, emotion, and I think that's what a lot of people gravitate to. Tank is more of a runs type of singer. He can give you runs, but he sings effortlessly as well. He has a great voice. Both of these guys got great voices. I'm not, you know, but their voices are totally different. Tyrese is a more distinct, soulful, I would say, more of a Teddy P, I would say, me personally, Tyrese. Tank is more, again, is a little bit more, you know, the runs that he can do some different things with his voice. So that's why I think they're totally two different singers, and I'm talking about singers. Now, as far as the actual verses, in my opinion, I think if I had to choose a winner, I can't. I think R&B lovers won versus, because I think these two cats bring something totally different to the table, but what they both bring, we love, or at least I love. I'll put it that way. So I think R&B lovers won on Thursday night, because I just think both these cats, they brought it. Listen, Tank got the hits. Now, if you're talking about hits and we're talking about strictly Billboard, they really neck and neck almost. But Tank Tank is a writer that has written some hits for a lot of people that you may not know. Now, Tank hits, Maybe I Deserve, Please Don't Go, When We, which is Grammy nominated. He has 10 number one singles on the Billboard R&B chart. That is Tank. 10 number one singles on the R&B chart over his career. Can't Let It Show, Slow, Sex, Love, and Pain. That's just a few. He brought out LaToya Luckett. He wrote that song. He brought out, I'm talking about Tank. He brought out the legendary Jamie Foxx, Make It Do What It Do. He sung back up and wrote that off of Jamie Foxx joint. He brought out Trey Songz as well. Tank wrote O for Omarion. Pleasure P. I mean, this cat pen game is probably one of the best in the game. Tank got the hits, and he's written the hits, and he can play. So no bones about it. Now Tyrese got the hits too. Sweet Lady, How You Gonna Act Like That, Signs of Love Making, Lately, Stay, What Am I Gonna Do? Shame off his Black Rose album. If you don't have that Black Rose album, you are missing the treat because I played that CD from top to bottom. That's one of the best R&B CDs ever made, in my opinion. The Black Rose album by Tyrese. Nothing on You, Turn You Out. Those are just some of the hits Tyrese got. Again, Tank, I pretty much bought every one of his CDs. His Sex, Love, and Pain and Sex, Love, and Pain 2 disc, you could put them in and not skip a joint, period, point blank. So this was in my opinion, I thought it was a win for R&B lovers. If you really wasn't up on your Tank nor your Tyrese, you probably wasn't really like into it. But I'm up on both these cats. Again, I have every one of Tank's CDs that he's released. I have pretty much all of Tyrese CDs too, except a couple. So I know a lot of the songs, some of the songs that they got to me that were dope didn't even make it on their verses. Now, if I have to pick a winner, I would probably have to say Tank because of his presentation. I think Tank had the better presentation, in my opinion. I think he came more prepared. He knew what he wanted to do. His execution was a little bit better. Again, he had a couple of, he brought people out. He did a remix with he remixed the song When We Again, and Tyrese called him out on that. I thought that was funny. It was some funny moments in this too, as well. Tank making a song up about Tyrese's turtleneck. That was a hilarious moment too. And these two just had this back and forth. That was hilarious, and I thought it was entertaining for me. But again, I'm up on both these cats. And then can't even talk about their TGT joints. That is Tyrese, Tank, and Genuine. That Three Kings album, I think that was released in 2013, 2014. That's one of my favorite CDs too. They probably could have picked and choose some joints that they could have done off of that as well. So, in my opinion, people asking who won, I could care less who won. I thought Thursday night, this versus between Tyrese and Tank, it was a win for everybody, for R&B lovers. So, Cece says she thinks Tank won, and Tia says she's a Tyrese fan. And she says Tyrese sings effortlessly while Tank struggles at times. So again, but I thought it was very entertaining, and I probably will go back and watch it again. Again, this is one of my favorite verses. And then Ray J gets his crazy ass on social media. I'm talking about Brandy's little brother, and he said that Tyrese was straight garbage. And I'm like, can someone please take Ray J's social media devices? Because we don't want to talk about that garbage he did on Versus. If we had one wish, our one wish would be that Ray J would leave social media alone and get himself well. Uh yeah, so I don't know if y'all saw that. I saw that on his IG. He went on and basically said Tyrese was straight garbage, which we know that's not the, and it's funny because Tyrese and Brandy are like best friends, his sister. Uh but we know Ray J likes attention too. And he gives us Capricorns a bad name, by the way. If you don't know, Ray J is a Capricorn like me. As well as, by the way, Tyrese and Tank are Capricorns too, if you didn't know. Tyrese is the December Capricorn. Tank is a January Capricorn like me. And Ray J is one too. I ain't trying to claim that dude, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. So that's my take on Versus. If you haven't watched it, I'm sure you can go pull it up on YouTube. Watch it from the beginning to the end. Again, I thought it was very entertaining, in my opinion. You can check it out for yourself and come back and tell me your thoughts on that. So again, you're watching Saturday Night Live with your boy Kendrick, the sports guy. I must probably start doing this. I'm doing I got my Mr. Lonely act on tonight. I got my shades and my hoodie on. I feel like, you know what, it's Saturday night. I ain't got nothing else to do. I'm Mr. Lonely. I might as well get on here and jump on here and do something. Tia says, I know about them Capricorns. Oh boy. You know what? Should I even step into this deep end of the pool with you, Miss Clark? What do you know about the Capricorns? And I'm going to see if I can confirm or deny any of what you think you know about us Capricorn men. What you know about that? I know I done put myself in the deep end of the water with this. I might be opening myself up for something with this one. So we're going to see what Miss Tia has to say on that. So again, man, make sure you like, subscribe. If you haven't commented, man, comment, come out them bushes. You got any questions? You got anything you want to talk about? Jump it off in the comments. Let's talk. Let's rap a taste. As my good brother Lamar Falk says on the Real Estate Insider. Oh, by the way, if you haven't, make sure you go subscribe and follow the Real Estate Insider on YouTube, where he does celebrity homes. And he does a damn good job. Matter of fact, he had a big live stream on Monday with Tasha K. If you big in the gossip and the reality gossip and all that, she's one of the top dogs in that game. He had a live stream with her on this past Monday, and it was hella good. So go check it out if you haven't already. That's an offline discussion. Oh boy. Okay. Okay, Tia. Let me clear my throat. Well, I knew I probably shouldn't have dived in the deep end of that one, but I had to ask. Let me clear my throat. Boy, that's funny. So we do got some March Madness going on, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, Arizona is up on Purdue 62-53 on the men's side. And I think that game is going on TBS. So we had some women action earlier as well. Just to give you a recap, if you missed, I did watch earlier the South Carolina women versus the Oklahoma women. And you know, I want to give these women, you know, some love too. South Carolina, exactly. They cruised to the big win over their SEC rival. I don't know if it's a rival or not, but they in the SEC together, but they got the win earlier, 94-68. South Carolina's the 1 seed. Oklahoma women is the 4th seed. The Texas women got the big win today as well, which they are a 1 seed over the 5th seed Kentucky. So we had some SEC matchups in the women's what was that, the Elite 8? Yeah, Texas got the big win over Kentucky, 76-54. South Carolina over Oklahoma, 94-68. Then number 2 seed Michigan women defeated the number 3 seed Louisville women, 71-52. And number 3 TCU Lady Horned Frogs defeated number 10 Virginia, 79-69. So that's the Elite Eight, man. So now we got the Final Four is pretty much set on the women's side. And we got all the ones, no, Texas, South Carolina, UConn is still alive. I think all, and I believe all of the number 1 seeds are still alive on the women's side. Yes, UConn plays Notre Dame tomorrow, and UCLA plays number 1 seed, plays number 3 seed Duke on tomorrow as well. So all the number 1 seeds on the women's side are still alive, trying to get to that Final Four in Phoenix, Arizona. So there you have it. So that's on the women's side. Again, the men's side, Arizona is up on Purdue, 1 seed, 64-53. Now, the update on the men's side, because my bracket has been busted a long time ago. We do know number 1 seed Duke faces number 2 seed UConn on tomorrow, 4:00 p.m. Again, Illinois, number 3 seed, defeated number 9 seeded Iowa, 71-59. So Illinois will play the winner of the number 1 seed Duke and number 2 seed UConn game. That is number 3 seed Illinois. Then right now, again, we got Arizona and Purdue going. And then tomorrow we got number 1 seed Michigan versus number 6 seed Tennessee. So whoever wins Arizona, Purdue, Michigan, and Tennessee will face each other in the Final Four. So yeah, man, there you have it. That's what we got going on in March Madness on the men and the women's side. We got WNBA about to get their draft and stuff about to go down here in a couple of weeks. We got the NFL draft happening in a month in Pittsburgh. So yeah, and then we got Major League Baseball. They've already had opening games already. I'm not a big baseball guy, so I don't talk a lot about that. But there you have it. So yeah, just make sure you keep it locked here for all your sports news and entertainment. We're gonna talk a little bit about everything. Again, I'm gonna be doing these Saturday Night Lives as much as possible. Next weekend is Easter weekend. I know it's gonna be a lot of people in town, a lot of people with family. So yeah, I'll probably jump on here too next Saturday as well, maybe. No, I may not be able to. I think I have. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it next Saturday. I got a good buddy of mine. His son is getting married, so I may not be able to. If I'm back in time, I may jump on, but I'm not gonna rush it. So I may not be live next Saturday, but I will jump back on here the Saturday after that to do my Saturday night lives. Just to talk, man, about all kind of things that's happening in the world, in the world, especially in the social media world. Uh, there was something else I wanted to talk about that went down that really wasn't sports related, but I cannot remember what it was. It kind of piqued my interest, but I can't remember what it was. So it must have not been that important, huh? The last thing I'm gonna do is get on here and ramble. Uh, so I'm not gonna do that. But again, if you haven't watched it, if you ain't got nothing else to do, if there's not none on your bucket list, go check out Country Wayne's Nostalgia tonight on Amazon Prime. Tell me what you think. If you didn't get to check out the verses between Tank and Tyrese, go check that out as well. You can probably pull that. You can pull it up on YouTube as well. And again, I was talking about earlier before. If you missed it earlier, we talked Tiger Woods. What's next for him? I just think he needs to get himself together. He needs to get some rehab. so he can be the best version of himself for his children. At the end of the day. And I got to give a shout out to my grandson, Honest Kwawi Mitchell. On today, he made 7 months old, ladies and gentlemen. And that's my dude. If you follow me on these social media streets, if you subscribe to me you follow me on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, I post my grandson. That's my dude. Yeah, I got an 11-year-old granddaughter too, but she's at that age now. She ain't really like kicking it and fooling with Pop like that now. She got her own thing going on. She's a pretty damn good volleyball player too, by the way. And I'm not just saying that. You know how people brag about their grandchildren and their children. Oh, my child or my grandchild, they are the nah, my granddaughter is the business. She's a pretty damn good volleyball player. I will say that. So, but she don't be all up in Pop face like she used to be when she was a little shorty. But yeah. My grandson turned 7 months. Yeah, Tia, yeah. That's my boy. That's my dude. So yeah, he keeps me popping. He keeps me popping. So so I gotta make sure I stay on top of this. And my thing is too, I think about some of the things, my things that I do and I produce and all this just visual stuff I do. My thing is, I want to leave something for my children and my grandchildren. Because when I'm gone, the beautiful thing about what we got now with social media and stuff, you're never gone, really. If they want to see me, they can pull me up. You know what I mean? Because all the videos and all the stuff I produce, they want to see Pop, they can see me because I ain't gone. You know, my spirit is still gonna be around here, and if you want to visually see me or hear my voice, you can just go and you pull me up on YouTube and on TikTok. So that's the beautiful thing too about social media, I must say, that I definitely dig. So uh that's another way of looking at it too, ladies and gentlemen. But I know some people have their thoughts on social media, how they don't want to, I ain't saying you need to share everything. You don't need to share everything about your life on social media, because I don't share everything. But there's moments that I definitely share, especially with my grandchildren and just certain things that I do. I mean, I want them to be able to go back and look back and see they pop, and my children to see their dad. Yep. So there you have it. Tia asked me, what was my takeaway from your song Love Tank? I thought it was beautifully arranged, Tia. I just your vocals. I would say this. I thought you stayed in the pocket with that song. You didn't over sing it. Uh, and I just thought it was beautifully done, in my opinion. Again, because you know how sometimes singers can kind of overdo it. You know what I mean? With different runs, or musicians cannot stay in the pocket sometime, and they kind of try to do too much. I thought the song was arranged beautifully, and I thought the way you delivered it was on point, in my opinion. Now, again, I'm by no means I'm not a singer, but I've been around singing and music all my life. I was a musician, and I talked about this last Saturday. I learned how to play the lead guitar by ear when I was 9. Well, and I grew up in the Church of God in Christ. So my family, especially on my mom's side, are singers. They either singers or preachers or musicians. So I grew up around music all my life. I grew up around singing. So I can tell you when, I'm like, I like the way that was done. Or I'm like, I think they did a little bit too much, or they should have did this like this, or this like that. You know what I'm saying? So again, I ain't no music producer by no means, but I do know I have an ear for music. I do. If you follow me on my social media, I do post music, and the stuff I post is stuff that I like and I dig. Yeah. So and it's something about it that I get. So you know, you welcome to you. You welcome anytime. I'm about helping and sharing and all that stuff. So that's what I'm about. You definitely need to make it. You know what, T? You know what? That I'm gonna put that on my bucket list. I definitely do need to do that. Because it's I guess it's in my spirit, and I definitely do need to do that. Uh, and it's probably until I do it, it's probably gonna bother me. you know, so it's probably my mother's spirit, probably like, son, you know what you need to do. I know she's like, I know you digging, you doing your thing, which my mother would definitely be. My mother definitely would be shocked at what I'm doing right now, this, because I'm her first son, and I was very quiet. I was a quiet child, shy child, didn't like to be in the front and center, which I still don't. I'm comfortable doing this because it's just me by myself. But I don't like to be the front center of crowds. I've never been like that. But she would be shocked to see me doing this because she be like, "Who is this kid? Who is this man? This ain't the Kenny I know." Because I wouldn't. Yeah, I wasn't a big talker, and again, I'm not really a big talker away from the microphone. I'm not. But my mom would really be digging this though. She would be getting a kick out of it if she was physically here. But yeah, I think her spirit is probably telling me what I need to do, and I'm just until do it, it's probably gonna be on me. So I'm gonna have to do it. Yeah, if it, I am, and I want to do it for my children and for my grandchildren too. So there you have it. So I didn't win about an hour. I'm gonna try to keep these Saturday Night Lives to an hour. I don't want to go too long. Just to get in and talk and chat with my people. Oh, you performing May at the Lindale Wine Festival? Okay, come out as my May the 9th, 4:36. Okay, what day is that on, Tia? Let me know. I definitely will try to make it. May the 9th. I'm a is that Mother's Day weekend? I believe that's Mother's Day weekend, if I'm not mistaken. But I definitely would try to get out. Yeah, I definitely will. I definitely want to check you out live because I don't really go nowhere, and to go somewhere where I can hear live music and live singing. Oh, that would do my heart good. That would definitely do my spirit good. It's a Saturday. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, that's Mother's Day weekend. Yeah, because I probably do need to get out, man. Mother's Day weekend is definitely a difficult time for those for not just me, for those that lost their mothers. My mother's been gone 20 years now. So it's definitely a difficult time. And then I think about my children. My ex-wife, peace be upon her. She's been gone since 2022. It'll be 4 years in May since she passed. So yeah, so definitely, that time of the year can be difficult. you know. So I just try to uh, be a rock for not only myself but for my children too, because they lost their mother, and it's difficult. I'm still dealing with the loss of her too. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. So we may talk about relationships on the next Saturday Night Live because I got a lot to say. I have some insight on relationships too, in my 57 years around the sun. So that may be the topic for not this Saturday, the Saturday after, because I probably won't be live on Saturday Night Live, but it'll be the Saturday following Easter. We're gonna talk relationships, so y'all make sure y'all tell your peoples, women. I know y'all want to know how men think. Let's talk. Let's rap a taste. Tell your people. Y'all want to know how men think? You got questions you won't answer? Or how come holler at your boy, Kendrick the Sports Guy for Saturday Night Live. Not this Saturday, which will be what? That'd be the 4th, April the 11th, 9 o'clock p.m. Let's chat about relationships. We're gonna talk. All right. All right, I want to thank you, Tia, for popping in. I want to thank my sister Cece for popping in, always supporting the brother. Again, you can rewatch this if you catch this later. Rewind it and watch it. Share it, subscribe, follow Kendrick Sports Hustle right here on Facebook as well. Subscribe to Kendrick Sports Hustle on YouTube. It doesn't cost you a dime as well. TFG Sports Media on YouTube. Like and subscribe to it on YouTube. Doesn't cost you a dime. You can follow it on Facebook. You can also follow me on Instagram at Kendrick1969. And you can follow me on TikTok at Kendrick Henderson 51. And TikTok, man, my live streams go down. If you haven't catch my live streams on TikTok, where I do most of the sports over there, man, it goes down over there in my live stream. Well, I'll be having to get at these doggone Chicago Bears and Minnesota Vikings and Detroit Lions fans because they come into my live chat, my live stream, thick as thieves, you know. Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, hey, Tia, you definitely do. Man, hey, if you come up with one, let me know. I got you. I definitely will. I wouldn't want you to. You ain't gonna do it for free. I'll definitely give you something if you come up with something. Yeah, for sure. You know your boy. I definitely will promote your stuff too. So I definitely, yeah. You come up with something and I dig it. I'll put some in your pocket for it. How about that? All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, or well, just ladies tonight, because it was just T and CC. I don't know if anybody else watched. If they did, they didn't comment. I told y'all if you come on watch, you ain't got to be in the bushes. You can comment so we can chat. But if you didn't, that's cool too. Just make sure you like, share, subscribe. Kendrick Sports Hustle, TFG Sports Media on YouTube. Like and follow them both on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram, Kendrick1969, as well as on TikTok, Kendrick Henderson 51. All right, Tia says it's already in her head. All right. All right, dear Tia, I'm going to hold you to that. All right, TC. All right, again, you guys enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. I hope you have a great Sunday. And if I don't see you on next weekend, I hope you all have a blessed and prosperous Easter weekend. Enjoy your family and whatever, and you all be safe. And we will catch you on the next live stream and on the next live report. And as well, go check out some of my content that I produce as well if you're into sports on all my social media platforms. Again, I'm Kendrick the Sports Guy. We will see you on the other side. And on the next report, I am out. Peace.